Vic Goddard, are you concerned that what you've seen happen with A-levels is going to be replicated regarding GCSEs?
You have to be. You'd be a fool not to be concerned around that. You see young people marching on the DFE yesterday. Have been disadvantaged by no fault of their own. You can't help but be concerned. I'm not a dad of a kid in year 11 or year 13 this year, but I feel like I'm a dad of 220 of them, and so it's tough. It's tough. Sitting at home not knowing what's going on in the system must be really difficult for young people and their families right now.
And so how can you plan, it's now Monday lunchtime, how can you plan for Thursday? In fact, we don't even know, maybe a decision is being changed while we're actually doing the interview.
Yeah, I was literally writing the letter to parents I'm about to send out as you arrive. So there are things that we know, so we are still going to do face-to-face giving out results because families may want specific support as specific questions asked. So we're gonna do it face-to-face, so we know that. How do we manage that in our building? So we're talking logistics at the moment. Obviously, we get the results the day before the young people do, so they arrive to us on the Wednesday. So we will be a little bit pre-warned before the young people arrive about who's likely to be more upset than not. So it's just about a matter of trying to read everything as best we can and to try and tell parents this is where we are today, but expect another letter tomorrow and the next day possibly as this changes.
The politicians who are doing the rounds, including Robert Halfon, the MP for Harlow, seem to be pointing the finger at Ofqual. Is that fair?
No, Ofqual do what the government asks them to do. And so we have a system, and it's a system that was put in place by Michael Gove when he was Secretary of State, of comparative judgment. So in the past, if you needed to get an A or an A star, you needed to get 80%. And if you got 80%, you got an A star. And if that meant one child got an A star or 1,000 children got an A star, that's what you got. Now the government limits how many children can get each grade. So the only way they can view this is a top-down whole system. How many kids sat German this year, this percentage will get a 9, this percentage will get an 8, this percentage will get a 7. And the problem with looking at it like Ofqual are on a whole scale is they miss the individual children. And as parents, we're just interested in our individuals. So blaming Ofqual for enforcing what the government's asked them to do seems rather rich. And it does seem to be a way to spread some of the blame, shall we say.
And is one of your concerns that others have expressed it in the town that, whatever you say the results, there's a lot of children and parents may feel I'm being punished for being educated in Harlow.
I think the issue is around if you have a fully comprehensive intake, and therefore you will have some young people who come in at a lower level but accelerate very quickly through, and they're going to be disadvantaged because of the nature of where they arrived with us at the start of year 7. And you've got others, if they all started at a higher spot, that's going to end up with them getting better grades through not sitting in an exam. So the disadvantage is obvious. It can't be denied that the fact that young people who have worked hard since the age of 11 through to the age of 16 or 18 with their A-levels will be disadvantaged compared to those that haven't worked quite as hard. And if you go to school in Harlow, we have a really diverse intake. I'm really proud of our inclusion. It means we have a lot of young people with additional needs, which therefore will impact on our overall picture of results. And I've always been honest with families about that. It doesn't mean our brightest kids don't get the top grades. They do. But when you're now not looking at them as individuals and you're looking at us as a school, that will affect children in Harlow more than it will affect children who've got a much more level intake.
If at some stage the government do a lessons learned line, as many organisations do, what do you think is the lesson they may or you'd like them to have learned from this?
I think knee-jerk decisions are not ever going to work out very well, or less likely to work out, So I think their rush to make a decision back on March the 20th about exam results for the summer, I guess it's one of two things, isn't it? Either don't make it so soon, or if you do make it that soon, make sure you're prepared for it. And what they could have done is they could have got these results issues sorted out much earlier, sent them to us and said, well, okay, where are your outliers? Which are the young people that have been disadvantaged because of other circumstances? We could have had a dialogue and we could have then got to a place where actually everybody was happy. But unfortunately, it's done to schools and done to children rather than with schools and with children. So I think one of the lessons learned is actually to listen to the profession. I think big decisions could have been taken at a slightly later point. So we could very easily have moved the end of the school year. The one thing that schools can do, Michael, is do socially distanced exams. By nature, they're socially distanced. So what should have been said is, how can we keep exams alive? Rather than let's cancel them and work out how we then backfill the space. I think there's probably many more lessons to learn than that. You know, the Conservative government got rid of modular exams, got rid of coursework. All those things would have helped. Now it's in a unique situation, and I'm not saying that they should be introduced, but it's certainly something that should be reflected on.